first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. Cars Plus, Guam's automotive leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime, a man accused in a deadly stabbing in Dededo admits guilt in local court. Plus, Gov Guam suing multiple contractors involved in the cleanup efforts at Ordot Dump. And Guam's youth learn how to steer clear of drugs as the abuse continues to ravage our island. Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado. Destiny Cruz will join us later in the show with her report. Well, he admitted to his role in a deadly stabbing that claimed the life of a Dededo father. Defendant Samson Shapusi pleaded guilty to manslaughter along with a special allegation for possession of a deadly weapon. He faces 15 years max in prison and will be sentenced at a later date before Superior Court Judge Vernon Perez. Shapusi was one of 5 men who stand accused in the 2022 deadly stabbing of 24-year-old Kieferson Aiken. The killing was caught on camera outside of the Dededo Center. Well, another man will spend 3 years and 5 months in federal prison and pay back more than $500,000. A former airline manager who admitted to his role in a federal bank fraud and money laundering scheme, learning his fate in the District Court of Guam. 40-year-old Sung Wang, also known as Don, had since taken the Fed's plea deal. As KUM reported, Wang worked as an office manager with Korean Airlines when he pocketed more than $600,000 in cash that the airlines collected as part of the Guam airport's required passenger facility charge fees. Investigators also finding out that Wang put the money into a personal bank account and underreported the actual amount of passengers that had arrived. Now to a federal lawsuit filed against contractors involved in the closure of the Ordot Dump. Mitsuki Hirayama reports.
The government of Guam is suing 4 contractors for their faulty design and construction of a closure remedy of the Ordot Dump. The Guam Attorney General's office filing the lawsuit Monday in the District Court of Guam against Black Construction Corporation, Brown and Caldwell, Geologic Associates, and GHD Incorporation, formerly known as Winsler and Kelly. The Ordot Dump was officially closed in 2016 after the U.S. EPA found that leachate was seeping out and slapped the Gov Guam with violations of the Clean Water Act. But as KUAM reported, despite the closure, it was discovered in 2022 the Ordot Dump has been overflowing with the toxic liquid waste. Now the lawsuit reveals just how much, the amount quadrupling between 2015 and 2022. And it continues to exceed the cap to this day, costing taxpayers and ratepayers a total estimate of $3.72 million in excess of the expected leachate treatment and operation costs. The complaint says without a remedy, the landfill will continue to leak the abnormal amount of leachate and the public will continue to foot the significantly increasing bill for, quote, perpetuity. Gov Guam is demanding a trial by jury and seeking damages in an amount to be proven at trial. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Now it's time to talk trash. We mean solid waste management, of course. Regional correspondent Tomas Mengolotnio reports on the progress of managing Saipan's waste. Here's more.
Blas Mafnas is the director of the Solid Waste Management Division under DPW.
This is where all the segregated waste are sorted out and placed at their proper location.
KUAM spoke to him at the Lower Base Transfer Station on Saipan. He said the biggest challenge for recyclables is collecting enough of it.
As soon as we reach certain quotas, such as 2 or 3 containers, shipping containers, then that would be going to its destination. Right now, most of the contractors' marketplace is in Korea or through Korea.
There are plans to create a satellite collection point in Koblerville and Cagman. Everything else that can't be recycled ends up here.
We're actually in the Marpi landfill. In front of us here is cell 2, and that way is cell 1.
The landfill and transfer station are both around 20 years old. James Benavente is the project manager with Micronesian Environmental Services, the landfill's operator.
Cell 1, our estimate's about 80 to 90% full. Cell 2, we're just getting started. We have a long time, hopefully, with enough waste diversion, segregation, recycling. We can prolong the life of this cell because our next cells have not yet been constructed.
A recent draft solid waste management plan found that Saipan produces 86 tons of trash a day. However, the economic downturn has resulted in less waste. The island also manages waste from major construction projects and debris from past typhoons. The NMI Office of Planning and Development is sourcing a multi-shredder for more efficiency.
It's not cheap. It's over $1.4 million. It's expected to come in hopefully before the end of summer.
DPW Secretary Yumol said it will also be used for other municipal waste. Tomas Manglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Now to your KUAM News bumps. Headlines now on KUAM.com. Keep it here. It's your local news leader.
The Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco isn't just a late-night taco. It's a seasoned and slow-roasted chicken taco that pairs nicely with the new avocado verde salsa at any time. Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco, only at Taco Bell. The Cantina Chicken Burrito isn't just for late night, because it keeps it light with slow-roasted shredded chicken and finely shredded purple cabbage in a freshly grilled tortilla that's not shredded. Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Burrito, only at Taco Bell.
Welcome to Kmart, your 24-hour superstore since 1995. Always there for you, day or night. At Kmart, we're committed to offering you an extensive selection of products at prices you won't find anywhere else. From the essential to the exceptional, our aisles are alive with possibility. Bloom with confidence, style, and savings this spring. Discover stylish clothing that fits your budget without compromising on quality. From trendy pieces to timeless classics, find the perfect look for every member of your family without spending a fortune. Then pamper yourself with our selection of essentials from nourishing shampoos to rejuvenating beauty products and soaps. And let imagination soar with our selection of toys and games for kids of all ages. At Kmart, experience the thrill of discovery as you explore our aisles, filled with a variety of quality products that cater to your every need. From groceries to home goods to outdoor essentials, we are the ultimate one-stop shop. Dive into an unparalleled shopping experience where quality, variety, and savings await at every turn. Shop smart, save big at Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Solid. 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 That early hour of the morning. Solid. Solid. Oh yeah. Solid.
Welcome back to Prime Time. Nearing almost 20 years without a certified DARE program instructor, the Guam Police Department makes its return to the classroom, teaching important lessons about the dangers of drugs to our island's youth. Destiny Cruz heads down south to the home of the Tigers for this report.
It's a heartbreaking reality about drugs on the island. Even the most impressionable and vulnerable populations exposed to dangerous substances at a young age.
Just the other day, we had this story about, a mom who was, reported by her son because she was using meth in the household with an infant.
But today, the 5th graders at Talafofo Elementary School may be the wind changing the tide. The youngsters completing a 10-week course on the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program, daring to say no to drugs. It's a collaborative effort by the Guam Police Department and the Guam Department of Education that seeks to guide young children in responsible decision-making. Chief of Police Stephen Ignacio.
Let's get out there and teach these kids to stay off of drugs. Because if we can teach them young, we teach them with the life skills that they need so that when they grow older, they know that drugs are bad, they're not good for your body, they're not good for your family, they're not good for our community.
For these 5th graders, the DARE curriculum is encompassed by the phrase, keeping it real, which encompasses standing strong against peer pressure and making positive life choices. But let's ask these young ones what the phrase means in their own words.
5th graders Peyton Tyron and Nolan Blas.
Stay away from drugs and just keep it real.
For kids to not do drugs and stay healthy.
With their heads held high, Tyron and Blas joining their fellow classmates in a commencement ceremony as they pledged to keep it real. It's an initiative that GPD says they hope to expand throughout more schools, with plans to send another officer out for DARE training in July, who will assist alongside certified DARE instructor Sergeant Paul Tapau in teaching the curriculum. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
The CNMI unveiled its new Manhoban Care Center, which will be its juvenile detention unit next to the CNMI Department of Corrections in Susupi on Saipan. Juvenile inmates have been placed in a separate section of the main facility since the Kagman facility was closed down over a decade ago due to the sinkhole outside the building. DOC Commissioner Anthony Torres saying the new unit can house over 30 juveniles. Island leaders and DOC staff gathering for a ribbon-cutting ceremony Monday afternoon.
Our Manhoban Care Center represents a pivotal and crucial step in our endeavor to foster positive change, provide guidance, and instill hope in the lives of the young individuals under our care. The Manhoban Care Center is a place where troubled paths can be redirected and where the promise of a brighter future can take root.
Torres told KUAM that there are currently no juvenile inmates. Now for your world at home. Here's a view captured of the paddlers racing in Tumon Bay.
This racetrack has made it possible to make Guam, as mentioned, a center of the world. Racers from the States, racers from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and so on brings everything together, brings us all together in this part of the world. And that is wonderful in itself.
Only Pizza Hut lets you surround your favorite pizza with greatness. The one and only stuffed crust pizza tempts your taste buds with melted cheese stuffed inside that amazing crust. And at just $18.99 with one topping, the stuffed crust pizza is truly irresistible. So grab your slice of pizza perfection with cheesy goodness baked right into the crust. The stuffed crust pizza, just $18.99 with one topping. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
Break it up!
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
So it's good that the neighborhood decided to call in the government to say, hey, got to do something about this before anything bad happens, right?
You know, if anyone from Catholic Social Service is watching this program, you know, I'm encouraging them to go down to the area, because I noticed that even though the government has come and cleaned up, and there's still a lot of trash to be removed, some of the individuals that are down there are not prepared to leave. They've been there a long time, and it's grown. I think if it was better cared for and had not turned into such a dump, then maybe people wouldn't have complained. I still think it's not appropriate to allow certain groups of our community use public facilities. I think it needs to be available to everyone. But I just hope, you know, I feel really proud that the government's stepping up and making a difference in that regard. And I hope they start doing this everywhere else at all the other public facilities, so that everyone who goes
can
enjoy and see how beautiful our island is.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty. Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today I am here with two wonderful friends. I'm here with Marie Monge and Leslie Leon Guerrero. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So May is, among other things, I mean, each month there's so many things going on, but Lupus Awareness Month. And I know both of you personally, and I know each of you have your own journey. Can you each share? Maybe we'll start with you, Leslie.
I've had lupus since 2010. I was diagnosed, so my symptoms probably were presenting for about a year or two before they actually diagnosed me. So my first symptom was a small, tiny bald spot on the side of my head. I had really long, thick hair, and I decided to do some research and go into a dermatologist to find out what was going on. And they biopsied that bald spot, sent it off, and basically called me back a day later to say, hey, I need you to come back in because this looks like something more than just alopecia. And then they asked me to start to see and get some blood work done to find out what it's going to be. And they thought it was discoid lupus, which is lupus of the skin. And that's where they did a whole other series of tests and discovered that I did have lupus. It wasn't lupus of the skin, but it was systemic lupus, so a lupus that could attack any organ within your body.
Well, with me, it was 2003. I was a young mother, and mine presented first in my joints. And then I started to get these low-grade fevers. And it was weird because every night, like clockwork, I feel okay in the morning. After work, every night, I just felt like it, basically like something turned a switch off in me. My physician thought that it could be lupus, but again, he wasn't a rheumatologist, and he said, you know, told me if you can, I would go to see a rheumatologist off island. I did in California, and I was diagnosed as well with SLE. I was put on prednisone, which is a steroid, some other medication, came back to Guam, and it just seemed like my flare just ignited. I started to have problems with my kidneys, my liver. After about a year or so, I think the worst thing that's ever happened to me is that I had pericarditis, which is the lining of my heart became inflamed. And I had to kind of take a sabbatical and stay in California for a bit.
Thank you. I will see you next time on your Weekly Renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
The dream is to continue to serve my island community. So doing that through Scoop Speech, with providing resources, free consultations, free screenings, and then, of course, teletherapy services.
Meet speech language pathologist Tiana Kitagwa. The 2010 Academy of Our Lady of Guam graduate currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia, where she has her own private practice, Scoop Speech.
The month of May, being an awareness month, shines a light on speech, language, and hearing professionals, specifically audiologists and speech language pathologists, and what we do. as well as giving parents and caregivers more information about things that they can look for so that they can intervene earlier if their child may or may not need some services, rather than waiting until a little later when it might not be, the most optimal time.
What prompted Kitagwa to get into such a field?
Both my grandparents on my father's side suffered from strokes. And so they had a lot of, one, the language piece and the communication, and then also the cognition, as well as the feeding and the swallowing. And there just weren't many services. But yeah, that's really what got me into it. And then, of course, wanting to give back to the community, knowing that there aren't very many resources on island for, speech and language therapy, from early intervention all the way up until, hospice and geriatric patients.
May is National Speech Language Hearing Awareness Month, and many would be surprised to know that speech-language disorders are more common than you think. She says some warning signs parents need to look out for birth and older, if the child does not smile or interact with others. For a child 4 to 6 months, does not babble. From 7 to 9 months, makes only a few sounds or gestures, like reaching. From 10 months to 2 years, does not understand what others say. And for 19 months to 2 years, if a child says only a few words. And she does offer some tips.
The first is to comment more than questions. So what's this? What's color? What is this called? So that's a lot of quizzing and drilling that puts a lot of pressure on the child. So give 3 comments for every 1 question. So that, one, you're giving the child the language that they need to answer that question, to also build up their confidence when they're going to be answering those questions. The next is to honor all communication with the child. If they are, emotionally dysregulated, or if they're feeling uncomfortable, or maybe not really confident with the communication partners around them, we don't want to cause a lot of anxiety. So if that child is using gestures like pointing or reaching, or maybe signing, if that's something that was taught, honoring that and modeling the spoken language for them at the same time is going to build a lot of confidence and go a long way.
As for parents who have concerns or may have questions, trust your gut.
Reach out to your pediatrician. If they recommend, for you to just wait and see, I would get a second opinion. And that's what I'm offering with the free screenings. So oftentimes, pediatricians are going off of growth charts and they're going off of developmental milestones, but oftentimes parents can tell if something isn't quite right in terms of their child, because they are the expert on their child. Early intervention is key. You do not have to wait to, start implementing strategies at home, or even receiving professional services if that's something that is recommended. It's better to start early than wait later.
To learn more or to request a consultation, visit scoopspeech.com and make sure to follow Scoop Speech on Instagram. With this week's Health Check, Jonigan Charfris, KUAM News. Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
Let your people know. When it comes to the pickle to chicken ratio, some people, they playing in your face, but not the McCrispy. Let your people know. When it comes to the pickle to chicken ratio, some people, they playing in your face, but not the McCrispy.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
In this week's Giving Every Tuesday, May is Foster Care Awareness Month. Bethany Taylor, founder and executive director of the nonprofit Harvest House, explains what the month means.
Okay, so we have a very simple motto at Harvest House. It's called Helping Guam's Foster Community. And we're just really excited to celebrate National Foster Care Month this month because it is a time, a season in this month where everyone gets to do something in caring for the foster community. Looking forward to it.
Something that Harvest House is looking forward to is the Angel Tree Donation Drive, which is taking place throughout the month of May.
I'm really excited about the Angel Tree. We had 16 emergency foster kids come through our door. We actually service about 100 foster kids every month through our door. And I'm just really excited about the Angel Tree. It's gonna serve them. It's gonna let them know they're cared about.
And how can you help?
Oh, come on by Kmart, pick up one of these tags. And actually it's a very, it's a beautiful list and well-rounded list of ways you can really come around a child in need. And you really think about, like, they came from a life of trauma, right? And a life of hardship. That's like a lifelong journey for them, and they haven't had people really care about them. So picking up a slip at Angel Tree really will give them a well-rounded gift and let them smile.
So once you pick a tag, you get the items on the list, and then you place them in the big bin near the Angel Tree. For more information, you can go to harvesthouseguam.org or stay informed by following them on Instagram at Harvest House Guam.
It's National Foster Care Month, right? So all of us get to rise up, stand up, and speak out for the vulnerable on Guam. We all get to be a part of it. Every one of us gets to do something. So I look forward to having you come by our doors, having you come by KUAM or Kmart and being a part of the foster child story. Let's change their lives.
With this week's Giving Every Tuesday, Jonagan Charfris, KUAM News.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
The month of May, everybody, is a time when we raise awareness about lupus in our community, and it is Lupus Awareness Month, so please make sure to check out the Sinahanya Parish. Make sure to go down to the central part of the island because they will be holding Mass to support those members of our community who struggle with lupus at the St. Jude Catholic Church. That is Saturday, the 25th, starting at 5 p.m. Brought to you by the Lupus Awareness Group of Guam. Also, the summer session for Project U will be held very, very quickly. For youth age 14 to 17, it starts on the 28th, ends on June the 21st. It's going to be at the GCA Trades Academy. Good things happening here. They will teach you leadership skills, they will teach you life skills, and you are going to have a fun time learning. And our friends up in Rhoda, we have something for you because there is going to be an agricultural fair. It's going to happen at Chamorro Village on Friday the 21st, starting at 9 in the morning. News Bites is the name of the segment, and that's what we do. Take like little bites and scoop it out to you so that you can enjoy.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club from KUAM.com.
On this 7th of May, we say happy birthday to Joseph Patrick Blas. And Joseph, your family gives this very, very cool shout out. They say, please wish our French fry guy, Joseph, a very happy and sweet 16th birthday. Hey, all right. French fries are awesome. You are a blessing and we love you so much. And please enjoy your special day. Absolutely. Hope you had a good one. Belated birthday wishes also going out to Kaylani Arceo, born on the 6th. Happy blessed day to our gorgeous princess. And my heart overflows with love for you. Nice. You're my sunshine, shining star, and amazing dollar. Celebrate with a blast while you're in California and make beautiful memories. And the beat goes on. We love you from Mama, Papa Joe, and the entire family. And Kaylissa Guzman, also born on May the 6th. Happy birthday to my Lady Supreme and my daughter, my blessing, my hard worker. May your day be filled with lots of hugs and kisses for all you do as a daughter, sister, auntie, niece, supervisor. All the way in Texas. Today and always, Mommy T and the family in the Lone Star State and here in the 671. Happy birthday to everybody. And you know what? You guys are sending birthday shout outs. Great job. Keep it up.
And that's your primetime show. Have a great evening.
So, Mr. Rand, just getting right into it, can you tell me how you came to the decision to resign as Deputy Superintendent of Finance for the Guam Department of Education?
Well, to be honest with you, Destiny, I knew that the superintendent had a bad rating, a 1.3/4, and that he was put under a lot of pressure. So after that rating, we kind of spoke as management, and he didn't really disclose what it's all about until just recently, when the controller decided to leave. I was in a meeting with him, and I said, well, okay, his last day is Friday. And then I said, let's try to keep him another week, because I had my general county supervisor on vacation. Then he says, okay. So I said, okay, he'll leave that. And then he looks at me and goes, well, what about you? I said, well, what about me? I said, sir, I've been asking you since I started to find another DFAS, the position is finance and administration, find another DFAS so I can move to the job that I actually applied for, which is assessment and accountability. And that whole time, they never found anyone. So I took the job and responsibility by the bull and the horn and did what I could. And honestly, we have a great team. But it's kind of hard to do that job when the key people that used to do the budget were taken away. And they didn't leave the department. They're still there. And I asked for support. But I was told, no, we can't give you support because they're now in audit. But I thought we're one team. Anyway, so we struggled through it. I got through that. And basically, we delivered a budget, which was finally approved. But all along, the board member, our chairman, knew what that number should have been or close to, but never shared that. So, when I meet with the administrators, the schools, and all the different division heads, I put the packet together, thinking, okay, now let's work together and figure out, what should we keep or what can we eliminate to get to a decent number. They made me and my staff do it ourselves. So we did. And round 2, they didn't like it. Round 3, they didn't like it. Finally, round 4. I mean, it would have saved a lot of grief if we were just told, work towards this number. But anyway, it is what it is. It's done. It got approved by the board, and it went to the legislature. So the budget's not done until the legislature approves the actual dollar amount for GDOE.
Right. And you mentioned the comptroller resigning as well. So who else has left important roles recently, and what is the issue that you're hearing?
I don't know. I just know that the other deputy left maybe sometime in mid-January or February, Ken Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's 2 deputy superintendents within a short time frame.
Sure.
And in your brief stint with Guam DOE, what was the best part about the job, and what was the most challenging?
Oh, the best part is really working with the staff and learning what they do, and just the different programs. And it's just, they have a lot of good people, a lot of good professionals that have been doing what they're doing. And of course, maybe there's some errors or some things that need to be enhanced, changed, and it's being done. I have no problem working with the team. They know what they're doing. I'm not there to tell them what to do and how to do their job. I'm there to support them, give them guidance, and really lift their spirits to work as a team.
Yeah. And what was the most challenging part at DOE?
I'm being very honest. It's the board, the interference. I sit in board meetings and I hear them belittle my superintendent, because we're not allowed to speak to the board, right? It's the superintendent that reports to them. And it just pains me because he's my boss. And when you speak that certain ways to him and implicate staff to him about how bad we are, how we're not doing our jobs, that's wrong. Instead of being supportive, what can we do to make the situation better or change? It's not a positive environment. And I sit there in the board meeting because we have to, because we support our boss. But when they start belittling him and giving a certain board member the authority, the hour, the 10, 20 minutes to speak and belittle the superintendent and the management, that's wrong. I think the chairman can do a better job in managing that meeting And when it's a bit out of control, pause it and say, let's take it offline. I hear the previous chairperson, Mr. Martin Mignola, would do that. You know, because it's not an open air because it's public for you to vent your personal feelings and to intimidate and demean, you know, the people that supposedly working for you. Anyway.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
At Not Howie says Taco Bell only really hits after midnight, which is why I'm going to use the Cantina chicken menu to help him see the Taco Bell light.
Very juicy.
Hi. The food hits, right? Are you at Not Howie? Does it hit or does it not hit?
I'd say it hits.
Yeah, it does hit.
I can't lie.
Okay, but you did, maybe. The Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco isn't just for late night.
Do you feel that it could have been more constructive?
Oh yes, absolutely. More constructive and more professional.
Do you feel like it was coming from a personal place, the critique?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the board chairman has against me, but I just know that I'm doing my job. I'm working with a team, and you know, I think I'm contributing to the education system. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of stuff that we're kind of having to fix from the past, you know, correct what's been happening in the past or that was not done. And I'm discovering these things. But yet, you know, I guess I'm not good enough.
And, you know, now that, you know, having been in a leadership role with GDOE, I know you touched on it, but how bad, I guess, is the situation for teachers and students? In your capacity, how were you able to gauge the situation? Well,
you know, first and foremost, what happens in the school matters. They're their priority. We got to put certified teachers in every classroom. We got to make sure that we have proper number of school days in the schools. And frankly, honestly, the facilities are worn. They're broken. And we have challenges to help fix it, you know? I mean, I think that's one of the issues we have today with a lawsuit, you know? The bathrooms need repair, you know? There's major issues that we need to kind of work together and find a solution. There's bad plumbing issues in almost every school. Electrical, I mean, I mentioned it, you know? We give the students laptops, but yet, are they able to plug it into the outlets at the school? No, because the schools are old. They were designed many years ago. So we need to upgrade that. And those are some of the challenges we need to do. But it's really putting the children first. That's most important. And I was hoping that we all had the same agenda. You know, if we're all working together, we'll get there.
Yeah. And if I could also just ask, my questions keep going away, but reading your letter, of course, to set the record straight, you were accused of errors in the preparation of the GDOE budget. So you said that this has nothing to do with your decision to resign. So why do you think the board chair would say that?
Because they're focused on finding mistakes versus finding solutions. I'm sorry, but I was not involved in the details of preparing the budget. I have a team, so we put it together. It's a system. I mean, you run the report, it clicks. Should we have found it? Probably, but come on, we make mistakes. I hope the chairwoman doesn't think she's perfect, but we make mistakes, and when you make mistakes, you correct them, and we did. We did, and they should be a little more supportive. Okay, I'm glad you took care of that. But no, you make mistakes. Excuse me? It's human. But my team that put the budget together and was responsible for the technical part, they worked hard, and we did our best.
Right, and of course, as your role as Deputy Superintendent of Finance, what was your part in helping create the budget?
Well, it falls under me. The budget team is under my responsibility. So when we began, I had asked for help. The budget people that used to do the budget for years are still employed with GDOE, but they were moved to the audit section. And the chief auditor himself was in my position. So they know what it's like, so I asked for help. All they gave me was a schedule and some document. Here, read this. That's not how you help people. That's not how you work with a team. Well, we can't because we're in audit. Well, you know what? But you were there. Give us some assistance. But I believe he was probably told, don't help her or don't help them. And it made life miserable. Because I would tell you something. It took me almost 2 months with my team to put the budget together after 405, 380, 318 to 303, right? And then so one day on the 3rd floor of Building B, I ran into my predecessor. I said, man, he goes, don't worry, you'll get it done. I said, yeah, man, but it's taking a long time. I wish you could have helped me. You know what he told me? Oh, I can do the budget in 2 days. I said, well, then why didn't you help us? So obviously, either his role is don't help, or he was told not to help.
And why do you think they would tell him, and by they, are we assuming that we're speaking about the board?
Yeah, I think so. There's a board working committee,
okay,
for finance.
And why would they advise, and we're speaking about Franklin and Cooper Nurse, right? Why would they advise him to not help?
Because you know what? Supposedly, in his new role, he reports directly to the board. And I know that the chairwoman's refuting that. But yes, we have his org chart. And it shows a dotted line from him, the internal audit, to the superintendent, and a direct line to the board. In fact, many times he says, I report to the board. He's told me and the superintendent that. So isn't it clear indication that he reports to the board and not to the superintendent? The superintendent and I, and along with our controller, went to his office and asked for help. He was supposedly off island, so I went to the girl that normally does and is responsible for the federal grant and all the accounting practices. We went and we asked her for assistance. And she was nice and cordial, said yes. So what happens? The next day, she called in sick for the rest of the week. So we didn't get any help. And up to this day, we didn't get any help. No guidance, nothing, no input. And when you work as a team, you support each other. Okay, your audit, you have certain restrictions, but come on, there's got to be some leeway because you used to be in that job. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and it happens. So, but it has nothing to do with the budget. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I could say more about all the stuff that wasn't done, but I'm not here to finger point. I'm just here. I just wanted to work and get the job done and help the team.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels, that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Mom, what's for lunch? Mommy, what's photosynthesis? Mommy, where's Pluto? Is it Friday yet? Mom! Mommy! Mom! Mommy! Mommy! Mom! Mommy! Mommy!
Hello?
Hi, Mom.
Sign up for any new unlimited plan and receive a free $300 Visa gift card on us.
I'm short. The public auditor from the Office of Accountability mentioned to us in January, you need to staff up your accounting team, your finance team. Yes. The chairwoman was a part of that Zoom call. Yes. And then when I tried to go do that, oh no. Who says you can hire? There is a list. There's a list, and maybe you folks need to look at it. A list of positions that that gave the superintendent authority to hire with not to exceed $2.7 million, and a whole list of positions that was frozen. So coming in, it said if you fill that frozen position, any of those positions, you're in trouble. So anyway, it is what it is. And that's why I say, leave the operations to the administration, to the managers that are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the education system. The board's a policy board. Stick to that. Support the team. Be more, ask questions if something's not right, versus to intimidate and to speak down to them, to demean the staff. Because when they speak badly to the superintendent, it's not just to him. They're speaking to all of us, the whole team. And honestly, we have good people working every day, working very hard to do what's right for the children of Guam.
Yeah, and I just wanted to segue a little bit, because you also mentioned the working committee board members was very toxic. What do you mean by toxic?
Okay, so the finance working committee for the budget was Chairwoman Mary Okada, Vice Chair Maria Gutierrez, and Ms. Christine Balletto. When we had presented the first round, they were furious, telling us, you didn't do a good job, what's wrong? The way Mrs. Gutierrez spoke to us, and even the chairwoman, I saw it in her eyes, it's like some demonic stuff coming through. But me and my team, we just took what they said, the belittleness, and they can attest to it. But not one of us refuted, because what's the use? They're the boss. So I'm pretty much politically savvy. I take criticism, let it hit me, and let it roll off, because if it has no meaning, and I know it's not true, why internalize it? I don't need to. But my staff, they were hurt.
And do you think that those demeaning instances kind of worked against you guys in trying to do your work?
Of course. Come on. I was really looking forward to a more supportive team to help guide it, because come on, there's no secret, we're all new. I've never done a government budget. It's more so the largest department of Guam, so of course it's going to take time. And errors, yeah. I like to ask if any of the board members, they don't make any errors, because let me tell you, we're not perfect. But when I find an error, I will fix it, and I would deal with it. That's how.
I hear you, and just also wanted to ask, So you also accused the board of micromanaging and interfering in operations, but doesn't GDOE management have to answer to the board?
Yes, we do. But when it comes to positions, who you hire, come on, that's not a policy. It's done. You listen to all the board meeting recordings, and you'll hear, they question things. I mean, there's even one thing I discovered. Okay, so I had to do the budget by myself, with my team, right? New. So we're going through the budget, and we get to the administration, the superintendent's office. And I said, hey, where's this attorney's? It's not on our staffing pattern. And then this team goes back and runs a report. Oh, he's paid on indirect costs. I said, what's indirect costs? Every position needs to be accounted for in the budget. Local and federal, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do. Well, these people were neither in local or in federal. So I said, okay, put them into the local. Because why? Every single one of the 13 employees are classified employees. They have to fit into the staffing pattern. I did. And I mentioned that. My team and I had mentioned that from the first day we sat with the working board. Nothing was said. All the way until the end of the budget, they question it. Why are these indirect people in the budget? They shouldn't be. Well, then where should they be? Are they federally funded? No. Are they locally funded? No, but guess what? They're indirect. And it is in the board meeting of December 29, 2023, the chairwoman says, because our superintendent got questioned about his travel, okay, because you can't use local funds to travel. Well, his local fund, his travel was going to come out of indirect costs. Indirect costs is a discretionary funds that's given to the superintendent to use. And that's normally we use it for training, for travel, for subscriptions, and for any incidental needs. You don't park permanent classified employees in that area because if the indirect amount goes down, which it has, by the way, it's gone from 9.6% to 6-something, it means he has less money to spend. So when you have less money to spend, you have to first fund those guys because they're in the indirect. They shouldn't be. They should be part of the budget, either local or federal. So I get reprimanded. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. We'll deal with it in the April meeting. Well, it was never dealt with in the April meeting. And they're still out there. So maybe the legislature will find out where these bodies are and put them in the right place. But you know me, that's kind of like, to me, I call it as a blessing because they didn't want to help us, so we found it, and I disclosed it. Is it right? I don't know, but I think it's got to be fixed and addressed.
My next question for you, the elected board members are up for re-election. So what would you say to those members? And another part to that, what would you say to the voters who get to decide who will sit on the board?
It's really up to the voters. If you're running to support the education of the children of Guam, know your role. If you're a policy board, stay there. Stay in your lane, because you're not helping the management and staff that have to run the day-to-day operation by nitpicking and accusing and threatening the team. I know there's one particular that's been there for years. So my question is, you've been there for years with all these issues and problems, school facilities and what have you. What have you done? And now you're nitpicking all these little things. That's wrong. Maybe it's time to move along and let other people be in the position to do what's right and help, and truly be a policy board that would guide and support the administration of GDOE.
Well, those are all the bulk of the questions that I have, but before I let you go, is there anything else that you think is important for our audience, for the island to know about your experience? I know you mentioned toxicity, micromanagement. Is there anything else that you think is important to share about your time there?
I think for the 6 months, I've learned a lot, and I've really come to appreciate and work with the team. I'm the type of manager that I give a lot of respect to the people, to my staff, and I don't focus on anyone's weakness. I focus on what they do well, because I believe that when you focus on an individual's strength, the weaknesses just eventually fall off. And then when you have good teamwork and collaboration, and good things will happen. I just feel hope that for me speaking up and saying what needs to be said, that the board will now truly act as a policy board and become more professional in their actions and in their dealings, and give the superintendent the ability to run the operation and give him the support he needs to accomplish what he needs to do. He's good. His experience, his knowledge, his education, his background, his passion is spot on, And I think this is what we need. But he also needs to be given the team that's going to help him deliver what he's been hired to do. So, just stop micromanaging and focus on policies and be proactive and supportive. If I may, Destiny, I've been on boards before, and I've also had boards report. Because I've been in agencies. This is the first board that's been so unsupportive and uncooperative. It's like everything that management does is bad. Excuse me. You're supposed to be more, if I've always worked to support the team. What do you need? How can we help you? Why is this happening? Help us understand. Versus, you're not doing your job. Who are you hiring? Why are you doing this? In one board meeting in December, I wanted to hire an F&M manager because it was badly needed. And they gave me such a hard time that I spoke up and I said, then give the guy my job and I'll step away. Because that's how involved they were in the hiring of positions. That's wrong. And we went through 3 interviews. And the guy that interviewed for the first and second time, we wanted to hire him. By that time, when he saw how toxic GDOE is with how the board interferes, he didn't take the job. Sad. It's really sad. So, there's some good board members. The thing is, they need to be managed properly and do their jobs as a policy board.
All right. Thank you so much, Joanne.
You're welcome.
Questions I have.
Thank you.